So I think we'll start now. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, everyone, to those of us joining from Australia and Thailand. Thank you for joining our webinar for KU Select 2016. I'm Christina Emery, and I'm Partnership Manager for Knowledge Unlatched. As you may have seen, you have been muted, but you can type in any questions into the questions or the chat box on the right-hand side. This webinar will be recorded, and a link will be sent to you afterwards. I'm joined today by Yvonne Berger, who is Managing Director of Karger Libri, our sales partner for Thailand, Russia, Israel, Singapore, and Turkey. Lucy Montgomery is Director of KU Research, and she's also joining us today. They'll be happy to answer your questions at the end of this presentation. This presentation should last around 30 minutes, with a 30-minute question and answer session at the end. In this presentation, I'm going to give you details about KU Select 2016, as well as give you a glimpse of what KU is planning. I'm sure you're all very curious about the new collection, so let's just dive straight into the nitty-gritty about what it contains. The pledging period is now open for librarians to show their support for titles in KU Select 2016. For this collection, a total of 343 books were shortlisted by the Title Selection Committee, which is a group of 40 acquisitions and collections librarians in 12 countries. The books fall into 16 subject categories in the Humanities and Social Sciences, and we've divided them into 14 packages. For the first time, we are introducing opening access up to backlist titles alongside new titles. In order to participate, there is again a minimum amount which libraries will need to pledge. And in order to acknowledge libraries' purchases of additional formats of books that you pledge for, publishers have again agreed to a discount. The discount is 35% off the recommended retail price and can be claimed directly from the relevant publishers. The Frontlist collection consists of 147 new titles in the Humanities and Social Sciences. These titles are scheduled to be published between November 2016 and April 2017. The pledging price per Frontlist title is $55 or €50 or £40. The Backlist Collection consists of 196 titles in the Humanities and Social Sciences. We set strict criteria for these titles. They had to be published between 2005 and 2015, and these books should be offered at a greatly reduced price of $13.75 or €12.50 or £10 per title per library. So why is KU expanding to backlist titles? It's simple. One popular request from libraries was that KU increase the number of titles it offers to libraries. In order to avoid overburdening library budgets, we're offering this curated backlist collection that complements the frontlist titles and will be used by researchers and students wherever they might be around the world. We've talked about how and why monographs are facing difficulties in previous webinars. It's a challenge which faces libraries and publishers as well as academics, and you can see why open access is beneficial for academics in particular in this image. So this is where KU comes in. Many libraries are struggling to afford books, as you know. Authors are finding it harder to get published. Many readers are struggling to gain access to the books that they want, in spite of the possibilities of digital technology. And monograph publishing itself is marginally profitable at best, and in many cases needs to be subsidized. I mentioned the new Backlist Collection earlier. If the world is to have access to these foundational building blocks of disciplines, then we have to open up backlist titles as well as new books. Some publishers are already making deep backlist titles open, and these books are no longer selling in any material manner. While there are now ways of funding open access publishing going forward, there is a middle body of content that remains closed. This is what KU now needs support for to make open. So, what is Knowledge Unlatched? KU is an award-winning initiative that helps libraries from around the world to share the costs of making books open access. By open access, we mean available to anyone in the world to read or download for free on a Creative Commons license. KU was founded as a not-for-profit organisation by Francis Pinter in London in 2012. In 2015, Lucy Montgomery moved to Perth in Australia to become the director of the Centre for Culture and Technology at Curtin University. As mentioned earlier, Lucy is also director of KU Research. Earlier this year, KU expanded to Germany with a base in Berlin, thanks to new managing director Sven Fundt, who is former CEO of De Gruyter. In July this year, a new base for KU was announced in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan Library. So this is how the KU model works. We ask publishers to submit titles that fulfill our criteria. The Title Selection Committee votes on the titles. The shortlist is then presented to the wider library community. This is the stage we're currently at, where pledging takes place for the smaller subject packages within the collection. If enough pledges are secured in order to cover the cost of the title fees, then these books can be unlatched. Libraries are then invoiced for their selection, and publishers are paid. Libraries will receive MARC records and their own usage statistics reports. If there aren't enough pledges to cover the title fees, then those packages won't be unlatched, and libraries won't be invoiced for those books. So far, we've run 2 successful collections and unlatched over 100 books. In the pilot, 28 books from 13 publishers were made open access. Within the first 2 years, there were at least 67,000 downloads in 180 countries via OAPN and the Internet Archive. This averages to 2,400 downloads per book, compared to sales of a couple of hundred, as would be expected for closed monographs. In addition to this, there have been 20,000 page views on HathiTrust's platform. Of course, these statistics don't include access via publishers' own platforms or any other routes. In round 2, a further 78 books from 26 publishers were made available on an open access basis. We started to unlatch these books in March this year, and as they're forthcoming titles, the remaining books will be unlatched upon publication throughout the next couple of months. Statistics for this collection will be available at the end of 2016. If you go onto our website, you can also find an interactive map of the usage statistics, which I just reported on. And this is an example of what it looks like. You can zoom in and look at different areas. Anyone, anywhere can access unlatched titles by going to our website, collections.knowledgeunlatched.org. 380 libraries plus consortia have participated in the KU collection so far. These libraries come from 24 countries around the world, so you can see that KU has a global appeal. A list of all participating libraries can be found on our website. There are many reasons why libraries participate in KU's collections, ranging from ideological support to using KU as a viable means to fulfill OA mandates in their countries. KU books are also good value for money. The benefits that KU and its model offer attract libraries who seek a sustainable and flexible way to purchase ebooks and, at the same time, make those books open access. KU asked libraries what would encourage them to participate, and as a result, the model reflects this feedback. Recent suggestions involved more books, more flexibility, and more choice. So, KU expanded its offering. We built in a pick and choose option to select titles on an individual basis, and we now allow for early invoicing for libraries who wish to take advantage of their 2016 budget. Our partners include HathiTrust and OAPN, which both host the open access versions of KU titles. All of our books are preserved by Clocks and Portico. We now have increased support for handling sign-ups and invoicing. We are working together with Lyrasis and JISC collections, as in previous rounds, with Karger Libri, Karger Libri, and Schweitzer joining us for KU Select 2016 in various territories. So let's focus in again on KU Select 2016. Here is the list of the 54 publishers who are participating in the new collection. They range from university presses to commercial, as well as open access publishers, and they come from 5 continents: Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, and North America. You can find this list in the FAQs and in the title and publisher list spreadsheet, which are both on our website in the download section. Here is a brief summary of how KU has expanded. Publishers have agreed to offer a discount to libraries purchasing additional formats of KU titles, so that you can avoid paying twice for the same content. Libraries can claim a 35% discount directly from publishers when placing their order for additional formats. KU encourages publishers to include a reference to the KU Open Access version to enable libraries to make informed decisions about additional format purchases. Knowledge Unlatched knows that it is important for librarians to have a say in the steering of KU and the content of its collections. We listened to feedback about expanding the subject areas, and we also assembled a titled selection committee from nominations. 40 acquisitions and collections librarians from 12 countries then voted on a list of 681 titles that publishers had submitted for KU Select 2016, which met our criteria for the collection. A list of these librarians can be found on our website. The feedback from the committee was positive, with some even struggling to decide on the great choice. Although I mentioned the numbers in the snapshot earlier, here are some more details. Front list titles cost €50 or £40 per library to unlatch, and backlist titles cost €12.50 or £10 to unlatch. In order to participate in KU Select 2016, libraries have two options for pledging. They need to pledge for either the complete collection of 343 titles, both front list and backlist, which costs €9,800 or £7,840, with a minimum pledge of 90%. That works out to be €8,820 or £7,056. The second option is to pledge for the KU Select 2016 front list collection only of 147 titles. This is €7,350 or £5,880, again with a minimum pledge of 90% or €6,616, which is £5,292. These amounts already include the 15% service charge shared equally between publishers and libraries, which covers KU's costs and allows for the model to be sustainable. The pledging period is open from the 1st of September to 31st of January 2017. Libraries should create an account for the library portal at the website app.knowledgeunlatched.org. You will be able to view the collection, read about the books, and place your pledges. Here's a screenshot of the library portal showing the front list collection. You can see the list of packages, how many titles you have pledged for in each package, and in the top right corner, the amount of pledges confirmed for that collection. You can also pledge for the entire collection by clicking on Select All. In the bottom right corner is a green circle, which is the pop-up chat window. And here you can ask us any questions you have using that window. Once you're looking at a package, you can click on any book to read the description. Remember that you can download the full title and publisher list as an Excel spreadsheet from the download section at any time from our website, www.knowledgeunlatched.org. You can pledge on 3 levels. Either select all packages in a collection to pledge for everything in that collection, or select all titles in a package, or select individual titles on the right-hand side. You can also delete pledges and edit your choices until the end of the pledging period, even if you've confirmed your choice. For further details, please download our step-by-step guide to pledging, which is also available in the download section of our website. I see that a question has been raised, and I'll come back to that at the end if that's okay with you. So let's have another look at the timeline of this project. So I mentioned that the pledging period has now opened, and it will end on the 31st of January 2017. KU will then assess the pledges it has received to see if the collection or individual packages can be unlatched. Libraries will be informed of the outcome in February, and then KU will start to unlatch those titles. Libraries will receive their invoices, and then we can pay the publishers. So what's next for KU? Libraries may propose publishers for inclusion into future collections. KU is planning to expand to Humanities and Social Sciences journals from 2018. And of course, KU will continue its research work in usage and other metrics. In 2015, KU established KU Research, which is working on finding better ways to track how open access books are being used and to develop simple, easy to understand usage reports for libraries, authors, and publishers. Lucy Montgomery, together with PhD researcher Alkeem Ozaigan at Curtin University, are leading the research. They have found a way to provide libraries with counter-compliant individual usage statistics for their institutions, and we will start providing this to libraries at the end of 2016 for the pilot and round 2 collections. Statistics for the KU Select 2016 collection will be available from 2017, if we're successful. Before we move on to the Q&A session, don't forget to jot down the address of the library portal so that you can create your own account. As mentioned, the pledging period is now officially open. Information about KU Select 2016 can be found on our main website, and you can download the title list as well as other documents from the download section. And there's a list of them here. We regularly use Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so please do connect with us on social media. Thanks for listening to us today. And let's move on now to the Q&A session. If the panelists could unmute their microphones, and I'm going to turn on the webcam as well. Let's see if this works. Great. And now, if you have any questions, please do type them into the questions box, and Yvonne and Lucy can help to answer them. So let's just see. We do have a question from Kirsty. So, if we were involved in previous rounds, do we need to create a new account, or can we reuse old credentials? So, yes, you will need to create a new account because we have now this new system which was custom built to our needs, and the databases can't integrate. So this will be new credentials for everybody, even if you've registered earlier. On our download section, which I showed in a previous slide there, you can see as well we have guides on the library portal, so how to pledge. And there's also a little poster of the benefits of the portal. So it's very interactive. There's the download section for the usage statistics reports. And yeah, the chat window is really a great feature. We have so many librarians and publishers use it as well who love the feature because you get an instant answer if we're online, of course. And one thing I should mention is that if you're in a territory, for example, where Karger Libri are in touch with you, then they will be answering your questions. The same for Schweitzer and for Lyrasis in North America and for Castellini Libri. There's another question here. What if we already have one or several backlist books in our collection and we want to pledge for the complete KU Select? Is there a discount on those books? Great. Well, thank you for the question and for the support as well. You can, I mean, if you want, you can pledge for you can click on the select all buttons to pledge for the entire collections. And then if you like, you can always deselect those individual books that you already have. Or you can pledge on all of them and help to make them open access. Yes, there is a discount on books if you purchase them in additional formats. But if you've already purchased them for the backlist titles, then there's no discount or there's no deduction from us. So the discount for additional formats is only directly from publishers. So I guess in your case, that would be for frontlist titles only if you have the backlist titles already. Does that help to answer your question? Great, thank you. I don't know if Yvonne, Lucy, if there's anything you want to add or any news updates that you want to give us from your side of things. I know we have a couple of attendees from Thailand, so you'll be familiar with Karger Libri. And I think they may be familiar with your colleague Yvonne, Supatra. Do you want to? She's not online today, but maybe you can introduce her briefly.
All right. So if there are questions, hello, our customers from Thailand. So if you have questions, you can ask me now, and maybe I can also discuss it later with Supatra Talapum, which you know very well, if I am not able to answer it at this stage. So are there questions from Thailand at this moment?
I will let you know. I'll give people time to type. Okay, it looks like not currently, but we can send an email after. Maybe Supatra can translate it into Thai as well to make it easier for everybody.
Exactly, we'll involve her in that.
Great.
Then she can do the follow-up.
Thanks. Go ahead, Lucy.
I was going to give a plug for the Australian webinar. So if we have any librarians in Southeast Asia who would prefer to attend a webinar a little earlier in the day, then we will be running a webinar for Australasia on the 9th of November, and I believe that's already up on the KU webinar site, right?
It will be. So I've had confirmation of the time and I'll put it up later today. Yes, so you can register.
Yeah. So we will be having additional webinars for Australasia in November. So hopefully they'll work out at a good time for people.
Yes, it's hard to get good times for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yes, the webinars list is on our website. If you click on or hover over KU Select 2016, and then there's a webinars on the menu, just click on that and you'll get all of the times. There's 2 every month throughout the pledging period. Another really interesting part of our website are the author interviews. So we've interviewed participating authors since the beginning, so from before the pilot, from after the pilot collection, to see if their opinions on open access changed, from after the round 2 collection as well. So it's really interesting to see what researchers think, not just about open access, but about Knowledge Unlatched as well, to see how it's helping them and how they're promoting their works. And just go to the website and it's in the news section if you have a look there.
And I'll add to that, we've got some fantastic anecdotes by researchers who have been using the fact that their books are available in full text in open access as a mechanism for helping them to engage with the media more confidently. And I know that that's becoming much more important for researchers in the context of the impact agenda. So I echo Christina's encouragement. Please, it's really worth taking a look at some of the interviews and thinking about open access and impact and how Knowledge Unlatched might help researchers at your institutions to cope with the demands of a changing research environment.
Great. Well, it seems like we've answered all of the questions. Of course, you can always email me at christina@knowledgeunlatched.org. Or if it's something relating to the usage statistics for KU research, perhaps Lucy knowledgeunlatched.org. We'd be happy to answer your questions. I'm also available via the chats window if you're in any of our territories like the UK, for example. And yes, if you have any suggestions on how to improve the webinar or any questions you think of afterwards, just please feel free to get in touch and I'll send you the link to this recording afterwards. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a great week. Thank you.
All right. You too. Thanks a lot for that.
Thanks, Christina.
Bye.